Hi everybody, welcome back to Cooking with Katrina. So it's a new year, 2018, fresh start. A lot of people have New Year's resolutions. Even if they don't make a resolution, it's usually a time where people start to be fresh about their lifestyle and their eating habits because it's a new year and they want to get on a health kick. So today we are going to do some stuff that are basically healthier options for some meals that might, make things a little bit easier for people because they're still tasty, but then you can at least still follow your health kick that you're on. So first we are going to start out making a stir fry, and we're going to do a spaghetti squash stir fry. My uncle has a huge garden and he brought me a spaghetti squash and he was like, use this on your show. And I was like, I've never really cooked with a spaghetti squash. I don't, to be honest with you, know what to do with it. And he said, well, this is what I do. So he gave me his recipe. Thank you, Uncle Jerry, for that. So I've got this squash from his garden and I've got his recipe. So we are going to make this. So first we need a spaghetti squash and we are going to cut it in half lengthwise and we're going to seed it out, take the seeds out. Very similar to if you're carving a pumpkin, you're going to scoop the seeds out. So now what we're going to do is just sprinkle. This is a mixture of some black pepper and some garlic powder. I'm just going to put a little bit in my hand and we're just going to sprinkle a little bit over the spaghetti squash just to season it a little bit. And the spaghetti squash actually, which I never would have guessed, can actually be cooked in the microwave. So we are going to put these two halves in the microwave and we're going to cook them for about 10 to 12 minutes. I'm going to put it in for 12 and we'll kind of check back and keep an eye on it and then check them out. So we're just going to place these in here. And, all right. Next step, what we're going to do is we are going to take a little bit of olive oil and we're going to drizzle a little bit in a fry pan. Not a lot, just a little bit. Other ingredients that you're going to need for this: sweet Vidalia onion, and I have 2 red peppers. We're going to use some of the pepper and the garlic powder mix for this. And my uncle uses turkey sausage. He uses sweet turkey sausage rather than pork. This is kind of where we're getting a little bit healthier, not only with the spaghetti squash rather than noodles or rice, but also with the turkey sausage. It's not pork, it's much leaner. I couldn't find at the grocery store the sweet turkey sausage, so I ended up getting sweet chicken sausage. Poultry, same thing. You can use either or. So we are going to turn the wrong burner on. We're going to turn the right burner on now. And we're going to put it on like medium high, a little bit closer to high. And we are going to cut up the onion. I got a really large sweet Vidalia onion, so I'm going to start out with half and just see what it looks like in there. We may not need the whole thing. So we are going to just cut it into some slices here. Then I'm just going to take it and chunk it a little bit like this. Then we're going to toss this into the fry pan. Scoot this a little closer. I'm going to let these start cooking up. So I'm pretty excited about this just because, again, I didn't know about it. I knew about spaghetti squash, but anytime I had seen it, I had only seen people using it in substitute as actual spaghetti, with a meatball and some sauce. So this is kind of like a new thing that I thought was pretty neat. So I've kind of cut the peppers up a little bit, and I'm just going to slice down. We're going to leave them kind of bigger. And we are going to toss them right in here with the onion. We're not going to use green peppers in this. My uncle explained they do have a little bit of a different taste. Red peppers are a little bit sweeter, and the coloring looks quite a bit better in this. The green makes it, once they're cooked, a little dull, so we're just going to keep the red peppers. And again, that spaghetti squash is just still cooking in the microwave. I love the smell of onions when they're cooking. The turkey sausage, if you're going to use turkey sausage, you don't need tons of oil in the pan. You do need it to start pre-cooking this just so it doesn't stick, but the turkey sausage will let off a lot of grease. The chicken sausage is actually pre-cooked, so that we're going to slice up in a minute, but it doesn't need to go in right away with this. So I'm just going to coat these a little bit with the olive oil so they cook up. And we're going to want to watch this and keep stirring it, obviously, so nothing sticks to the pan. So we're just going to take a little bit of the pepper and the garlic powder mix, and we're just going to sprinkle some on top there. And we're going to just give it another toss so it gets nice and coated. I think I might drizzle a little bit more olive oil in it. Not a lot, because we don't want a bunch in there, but so we have a little bit. Whoop, we lost one. Put that back in. Okay, so we are just going to let these cook down. And like I said, just keep an eye on them and keep stirring. And like I said, I got a large onion, so we're not going to use the whole thing. So quickly, while those are cooking, what we're going to do is slice the sausage so it's ready to go in when we need it. Again, this is pre-cooked, so you're going to want to warm it, obviously, but it is pre-cooked. So we are just going to slice this into little medallions. And again, this is sweet sausage. It's not spicy. You probably could use spicy if you prefer that. That would probably be fine. Next, a couple of the other things we're going to do today is we are going to make I'm calling it a smoothie. I actually make it. There's no yogurt or milk or anything in it, so I'm not sure that it technically counts as a smoothie, but I put water in it, so it'll work. So this is all set. We're going to stir this once more, and then we're going to go over and do the smoothie. Okay. So I've got everything in bags. This is like a pre-prep smoothie. So if you're in a rush in the morning and you're trying to, maybe you get, a latte or something in the morning with a lot of cream, a lot of sugar, a lot of sweet stuff. I personally get a mocha iced coffee with 6 pumps of mocha in a small, and a small usually comes, I think, with 2. So it's a lot of sugar. So this right here is going to help drop down some of that and just get you on a healthier kick. So you can pre-prep these, and what it is it's 1 frozen banana, and it's going to get icy. So the banana is going to make it kind of like a, it's going to be cold and icy. So we are going to take the banana, and we are going to put the banana in the little blender container. We have about a handful, like a large handful of fresh baby spinach, and we are going to dump that in there. And again, these are in baggies because I'm trying to show how simple it is to pre-prep these little things. You just grab the bags, dump, and go. And then we are going to put some coconut in there, some coconut shavings, and I'm not going to use all of it. This isn't even, to be honest with you, really measured out. It's just kind of like just what you like and kind of go. Now on top of these, this is 100% all natural, unsweetened cocoa powder. So this is going to give a little bit of a chocolate taste for people that like sweet stuff in the morning like I do to kind of get you going. So we are just going to dump this, actually the whole thing in there, and it's about a tablespoon of the cocoa powder. Now what we are going to do is go over to the faucet, and we're going to put some water in this. I don't like milky kind of drinks. I like them to be a little bit more icy and watery. So I don't like to put yogurt and stuff in there and make the smoothies with yogurt. So we're going to put some water in here. And we are just going to put the water on cold and just add a little bit of water, and maybe like a quarter to a half a cup of water. We are going to put this on, and we have a little bit of granola, and that's for topping because I'm just going to make it look cute at the end. So we're not actually mixing the granola in here. So this is going to be loud for a second, so we're going to put this in, and we're going to turn this on just for a minute. If you like it really cold and really icy and a little bit thicker, you can add a little bit of ice and maybe a little bit less water. I've done that before because I've forgotten to freeze a banana, so I had a fresh banana. So quickly before we pour this, I've just got to stir this up. Smells really good. We are going to actually lower this now that it started cooking. We're actually going to dump a little bit more olive oil in here. Give it one more toss. Okay. So now we're going to go back over here. So this is all blended up. It's really quick. Something quick in the morning, again, if you have everything ready. So we are going to dump it in here. It looks a little funky. I promise you, it does not taste funky. It actually tastes pretty good because of the coconut and the chocolate. It tastes like a nice dessert drink. And what we are going to do is just sprinkle a little bit of coconut on top of it. And then I've just got a little bit of granola. And we're just going to sprinkle some granola on there. It's got mini chocolate chips in it. So just for looks. We're going to stick a straw in it. And we're good to go. So this is your just quick little smoothie drink. Tastes like chocolate and coconut. Candy bar almost. But it's got a banana in there, and it's got a handful of spinach, and the spinach is really good for you. And again, there's no dairy or anything in it. It's water, so it's great. So there's that. Now we're going to just stir this. These are starting to cook and get soft, so we are going to add the chicken sausage in there now. We're just going to scoot this in. Rolling right off here. Hopefully we get them all in the thing. Look at that. Okay. So now we're just going to toss these around. Let these get all coated. Let these start cooking down and warm up. I'm going to check and see. Spaghetti squash is almost done. So we are going to take that out. See how that is. We're not going to add it quite yet because that just needs to cook a little bit longer. This is going to be hot, so you're going to want oven mitts. Just going to get this out. Just going to check one and make sure that it's not, make sure it's cooked. Yep, they're cooked. You can tell they get soft like a regular squash. They smell really good. I'm gonna throw that. I put a paper towel down in there just so it was on top of something. Didn't think it was necessary to put a plate in. So we're gonna let that cool just for a minute before we handle it, because we're gonna have to scrape it out with a fork. We're just gonna give this another toss. And then we're gonna go over to the other side, and we are going to make a healthy dessert option for everybody. Well, these cook a little bit more before we add the squash in and toss it, and then that'll be all set to go. So we're gonna come over to the other side quickly. What we're gonna make over here is a blueberry frozen yogurt. I love ice cream. Not healthy for you. Everything is, I guess, in moderation, but you don't want to eat it all the time. I like to eat it all the time. So this is a little bit of a healthier option for something to do rather than constantly eat ice cream. So we have a food processor, and we're going to make this in the food processor. And what you're going to need for this is 2 cups of non-fat Greek yogurt, about 1.5 pints of fresh blueberries. These have already been rinsed and drained and everything. 1 lemon, we're going to use the juice of the lemon, and then we need about 3/4 cup to a cup of honey. That's going to sweeten it up. So what we're going to do, put 2 cups of the non-fat Greek yogurt into the food processor. And you can really make this, if you prefer raspberries, strawberries maybe, you really could substitute any sort of fruit, I would say, for this. I just happen to like blueberry flavored stuff, so I chose to use blueberries. Okay, so pretty much got as much out of that as we're gonna get. So now we're gonna just dump the blueberries in there. And again, make sure you wash those. They spray a lot of stuff on blueberry plants, so you want to make sure those are rinsed. I'm going to just scoot those down. We're going to put the juice of a lemon in here. We're going to want to just squeeze it over our hand first, just so we aren't running the seeds in there. And if you, by chance, see a seed, you can just pull it out, but it's just easier this way. So there's half of it. The other half. Okay, now we are going to do 3/4 cup to a cup of honey. This isn't pre-measured, we're just eyeing it, but we're just gonna squeeze it all in here. And we're gonna see how much is left. A little bit more. So this is 16 ounces, so you basically wanna use about half of it. And I actually pre-made this to try it out, and it was really yummy. It was better than I was expecting, since I'm a ice cream lover. So now what we're gonna do, put the top on, and then we're gonna pulse this up, so this is just gonna be loud for a second. Okay, I'm quickly just gonna walk back over and stir this quick, because I just don't want everything to stick to the bottom of the pan. Okay, I'm gonna go back over here. One more time. Okay, I do say okay a lot. I mentioned that in another show I do. I think I'm saying it because I'm done with what I'm doing and I want you to know we're done with the step, but it's becoming a overused word. So this is all done. What you're gonna wanna do with this is you're going to want to take this and dump it into a container that you can put in the freezer. I put it in a little glass, like loaf pan. You can put it in, again, any container. You need to freeze this for at least 4 hours before eating it. It's got to get cold. So we're actually not going to put this in anything right now because we don't have time to freeze it, but I do want everyone to see what it looks like done. It's yogurt blended up, basically. So it does need to freeze. So I'm just gonna set this back on here. And I'm actually gonna go over to the freezer and I'm gonna get the one out that I've already made and we're gonna scoop it and put it in the bowl. Probably gonna wanna cover it with something so it doesn't get like, you know, freezer burn on it. I had this covered while it was freezing. I just uncovered it so I didn't have to on the show. So we're just gonna take this out and you just wanna let it sit for just a couple minutes. Let it thaw a little bit before you scoop it. We are gonna go over here and put the squash into the stir fry now. So actually, we need a fork. We need a fork. Okay, now we are going to take the squash, which mind you is still very, very hot. So you're gonna wanna just make sure you've got it, something wrapped around it. Now with this, I don't know if you can see, you basically, it looks like spaghetti. You scoop it with a fork, like scrape it, and it looks like spaghetti. So we are gonna do this and we are just gonna add it in there. You can just keep it just all around. This is very fun, I think. Fun vegetable. Again, we're just scraping it off. And this is why they call it spaghetti squash. It looks like spaghetti. So it's all scraped. This one. Still, again, very hot. Scrape it in there. Now we are going to do the same thing with the other side. Scrape it. Make sure you can see here. You just take the fork and run it along like that. Trying to get it all scraped out and then we'll put it in there. Pick this up. Just make sure we got it all. Okay, so now we are going to take some tongs. We are just going to toss this all together. And again, the spaghetti squash is cooked, and at this point, everything else is all cooked up. So we're just gonna toss this together, and we're just gonna let it all just cook on like medium low, just to get all the flavors going together. And then we will be ready to serve. Just wanna coat everything and get all the juices and stuff. We're just gonna let that sit for just a minute. We're gonna go back over to the frozen yogurt, side. We're just gonna scoop some more of this out. And it's not gonna come out exactly like you would see an ice cream doing. Because it, again, is yogurt and some juice and stuff, so it's gonna be a little bit more icy than that. But we're gonna dig it out like that, I guess. Flopped right out there. Still tastes the same. We're just gonna do one more scoop, potentially. Okay, so that's the idea of it. We may have needed to let it sit for a bit longer, but again, we're on a limited time frame on the show. So we are going to put that over here. Blueberry frozen yogurt. And we have this healthy smoothie that, again, might not look delicious, but it tastes delicious. And then we are going to turn the stir fry off, and we are going to put some in this bowl here. The red peppers really look good. The coloring for this is good. My uncle actually said that, and he is absolutely correct because it looks delicious. Put a couple pieces here. Okay, and then we've got the stir fry. So just some healthier options for the new year to follow some healthy resolutions that everybody's having. So thank you for watching, and we will see you next time.